This is the Volante Next Gen product status update and demo for February. According to the original plan, our strategy was to, as the first step, complete an end-to-end working version of the system, then subsequently build on top of that working system. We needed to verify what has been completed and develop any necessary items required to come up with an operational system for what-a-bagel. What-a-bagel is our first target site. The goal for the first milestone is to, from scratch, initialize the site, set up the back office, build the basic menus, and process sale transactions at the point of sale. Our team worked hard and fortunately things went well. Many of the critical menu building components were already in place, and the development ran into only a few unexpected problems that were quickly resolved. Because of this, we were able to slightly get ahead of schedule and even as a bonus, complete some items that were slated for the March milestone. Now let's demonstrate end-to-end action, starting with store setup and menu building. As the video plays, each item completed would animate so you can follow along. We have created an enterprise account for what-a-bagel, so let's log in. The very first thing we need to do is to create a new store location for the franchise. None exists now, so let us create one. All we need to do is fill in the information of the store, name, address, location, and when you're done, hit the save button, and our first task is complete. Now on to the next step, creating menu items. We've cut a section of the what-a-bagel menu shown on the left for this demonstration. We will create two categories to help organize our menu. First category is iced coffee, and next, beverages. Now let us create the items. We have iced Americano, $2.95, iced cappuccino, freshly squeezed juice, and bottled water. The freshly squeezed juice has options: orange, grapefruit, and lemonade. So we will need to add an option set, juice flavors. Now we create the flavors: orange, grapefruit, and lemonade. After creating the flavors, we now add them to the juice flavor option set. This is where we set the rules of how many flavors can be selected per menu item. Now we just need to associate the option set with the freshly squeezed juice, link the two together, and the item is complete. Finally, let's add our last item of our menu, soft drink. It is special because it requires a barcode, so let's associate a barcode with the item. Now we are done creating our inventory of menu items. In order to use the inventory of items, we need to create a menu for the store. To do this, we add a menu and give it a name, main menu. This menu can be shared across any of their stores. Once the menu is created, all we have to do is import the items from the inventory. Let's import all of them. It will ask us if we want to also import combos, options, and price levels. Yes, we do. And when it's done, everything is there, including the juice flavors we added. The next and final step, which is also the most fun, is to create some quick menus for the cashier. We can create as many quick menu screens as we like. We will create two. First, iced coffee. To create a screen, we add items we created to the screen, then label and size and color them any way we like. Now let's create beverages. Use the options to make them visually appealing for the cashier. Resize them, add a little color, change the font, and now we are all done. There are 3 more items we need to set up before we can ring in sales on the POS. The first is creating a transaction panel. To create a transaction panel, go to Views and Templates. From here, we can create a new cashier panel. Call it Cashier. Now, let's add the buttons we need to process a sale. Let's start with cash. We'll add all the denominations. Next is print receipt. Cash drawer is there. Add note. We have remove item. Let's color it. And find item. The buttons are all there now. The next step is to set up a terminal. To do this, we need to first add a terminal group and associate a menu to it. We can then configure what the 2-line display says here. Then the last thing is to let the terminal group know that it will be running in cashier mode. Once the terminal group is configured, we can now create a terminal and associate a hardware device to it. To add a terminal, give it a name. The demo terminal is a Unitouch running Linux. Give it the IP address, and we've created a terminal. The last thing to do is to add a printer, as well as a cash drawer, and a 2-line display configuration to the terminal. The terminal is now set up and the POS can now be initialized. Before we can use the POS, we need to set up a user. To do this, go to Employee Management and first create a job type. Now add a user, first name, fill in the basic information, press create, and now the user is ready to log into the POS and ring in some sales. After all that hard setup work, we're ready to launch our POS. Okay, so here's our makeshift POS station. We have a printer, a cash drawer, and a 2-line display set up. We are ready to start the POS. The first thing you'll notice is that it only takes seconds to start compared to 1 to 2 minutes for our older version. So let's log into the POS with our created user. If we try to log into the user screen, we get an error because we haven't clocked in yet. So let's do so. Now that we've clocked in, we can now access the cashier screen. So let's ring in some items. We'll ring in the iced Americano that we added to the menu, and we'll also add an iced cappuccino. Let's add an item with an option, our fruit beverage with lemonade. When we're ready to end the sale, we hit the totals button, and the customer display should let the customer know how much to pay. Now we know the totals. Let's make a cash payment. The customer display should reflect that and let the customer know what the change is. The sale is now complete, and let's close the sale. Print a receipt. The cash drawer should pop. And the transaction is done. Let's log out. And that concludes our demo videos. If you so desire, the entire system is online and available for you to try. You can log in using the credentials on the screen. If you find any problems or bugs, please report them to the QA team. Our next update is at the end of March. From the entire team, thank you for watching.